Well, I've decided that I should have a little micro update here on my channel. I don't do a whole lot of video updates at all because I very, very infrequently do big projects and sorts anymore because I'm just so damn busy. But anyway, I'm taking a drive in the 2017 Challenger today. Yes, this car is new to me. There's my new spaceship.
You see my motherfucking spaceship? This is a Dodge.
The big pile of bird shit on the back. There's a power line right over above. Still got the Z. Z's not going anywhere. It's fun. It's an automatic and doesn't have an LSD, so I'm a little disappointed in that, but we'll see how long the car sticks around for. Like anything else that I have, I don't keep it for very long. Unless it's a CR500. That's something I keep around for a long time and never fucking finish. I guess I'll get around to it one day. Sorry guys, but you know, you gotta watch my other channel for that, Duckman Cycles. But anyway, I'm working on the Volkswagen Fastback today, which is the reason why I'm out driving the Dodge. I had to go pick up a battery terminal connector because the old one actually fused itself to the battery. It became so corroded and just rotted out and had problems, so it got stuck. So anyway, I bought a new one. Sitting over here, we're gonna put that on there, and I'm gonna change the battery out too. It's about 30 degrees out today. It's cold as hell, and this is, of course, Florida, so yeah, I'm sure it's colder where you're at, but once again, Florida, you know, vacation spot where people go to, like, wear their swimsuits and go to beaches and stuff. So anyway, here I am, and that's it. Let me show you what we're working on. There's my 56 oval chop top. If you haven't already seen that on my other channel, Duckman Cycles, you should check it out. Duckman Cycles, the Volkswagen garage. I work on his motorcycle stuff and the Volkswagen stuff and random other garage type projects. So you'll see some updates on it and exactly what I've done to this thing. So you guys should check it out. But anyway, we're going to go into the backyard where the Fastback is parked at right now and show you what we're doing. There's the battery terminal. You see how that sucker just corroded itself on there. I soaked it down with some acid, hoping to kill some of the corrosion on it and clean it up, but it was a big clump. I mean, the size of like a baseball. I had to chip that off of there. Surprisingly, the nut did come loose, but the thing won't turn. As I roughed it up, the entire stem started to pull out of it, so at that point it was time to stop. I didn't need to spill acid all over the place and make a mess out of the car. So I pulled out the bolt cutters, cut the wire right off, laid the battery over here. There's the Fastback, and there, of course, is the 73 Beetle of mine. You want to see some more details on them? Once again, Duckman Cycles. Check out my other channel. Alright, in the back of the Fastback here is the battery that I put in here. This is actually one of the better batteries that I have remaining that still needs to be used, so I figured I'd use it up before it goes bad from sitting. I mean, it's already 4 years old. So we'll see how much longevity I get out of it now. I think it's pretty much at the end of its life, but it was working just fine in the car it was in, so we're going to continue trying to use it. In fact, originally I think it came out of this car, but I was having problems with the charging system, and it turned out it wasn't the battery. So when I fixed the generator and replaced the regulator, which lives over here, everything was just fine. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and put those 2 wires back on the new terminal that I got, put that together on there, and get the sucker started up. Alright, we've got the new battery terminal on there. Let's go ahead and see if this thing starts up. Yeah, we got our generator and alternator lights. I've already stepped on the gas pedal a few times. It's cold. Make sure it's in neutral, of course, because otherwise Volkswagens will just jump. You turn the starter, they will bolt. There's no safety warning stuff on there like there is in a modern car. Anyway, here we go. I don't believe it. No, I don't believe it started that easy. It's not usually starting that easy. There's no chokes on these carburetors that are in here. Usually you gotta rump the throttle a whole bunch of times to get it to even fire, and well, I got lucky this time around. Anyways, still rough and needs a warm up. I want to take it for a ride, but last week I think I tore the transmission mounts on it because the shifter started to feel like it was in molasses. It just started to feel really heavy, and when I would get on the gas, the shifter would slam back into my hand. That was not something you used to always do. Your shifter would move a little bit, but never would it slam like that. So I think the transmission mounts, or in the Fastback, these guys have a subframe. There's a possibility the subframe may have come loose, and if that's the case, then the entire rear end of this car is all bouncing around. So I got to get a good look underneath this car, so we're going to have a look at that next. Well, there's our front transmission mount, and there's where it broke. So yeah, it's flexing and banging around. It's definitely not doing what it's supposed to do. How about that? That was a pretty good guess. It looks like the subframe is still solidly mounted. I need to replace that. That thing is just falling apart. That thing has been an issue for a while. All the other bolts look like they're in, and they're in solid. Probably be a good idea to go over them with a wrench one time and just make sure they're good. But yep, the nose cone mount is definitely split. It's definitely fatigued. Now, if we're going to replace that, I might as well go about replacing the 2 rear transmission mounts as well. This is a 2-bolt style, by the way. Geez, I might even have one. I'm looking at it right now. I might just have what I need. I'm going to dig through my parts and see what I got. It's real easy to change that out. Just go ahead and remove the 2 bolts back here. And push the whole damn thing back. 2 bolts here, 2 bolts here. And get up in here, remove the, ooh, is that loose? Yes, it is. Make sure we don't lose the cover plate on that too. I'll check the screw on it. I remove the shift coupler, and the whole transmission is going to go back. It only needs to go back a couple inches. Just far enough to get the bolts to clear, and then once the bolts are cleared, it'll fall right out of there. The mount that I have actually has bolts that you add to it versus the one, this here, which has the studs already mounted in it. I'm going to try to do this on a lift if I can. A friend of mine across town, I believe he's still the vice president of the Volkswagen Club, and he's got a lift in his yard. So I'm going to try to borrow it next time I go over to his shop and see if I can get this done there. But like anything else, when you work on this stuff, you're opening up a can of worms. So what breaks in the process? Got the oil leak that I know about back here. That looks scaly like tar. The oil leak is over here. You see that? That's the breather tube that goes up to the top. For some reason that likes to leak. I don't see a crack in it. It probably just doesn't fit very well on the metal tube. So I need to fix that. Otherwise it doesn't leak any oil. This motor is pretty dry, considering. It looks a little wet up there, too. I just replaced that boot. I don't know what would be wrong up there, but I'll just tighten down the screws again and be sure. There's 2 more transmission mounts in here. In fact, I believe that's one of the bolts that you see here, one of the nuts. And there's one there, and there should be 2 nuts on that. They fit under the transmission bell housing under here, but the motor has to be out for you to go ahead and get to the nuts that are inside the bell housing. Here's what those rear transmission mounts look like. This is actually a Beetle chassis that I showed you earlier, but there's the 2 nuts that are on the inside. There's the rubber pad. There's a rubber pad. So this transmission, rather the engine has to actually be removed from this transmission to get in here to remove those nuts. Not a hard project. It's a little time consuming. Your shit has to come apart, but it's not a hard project. So I will have to drop the motor, but in the Fastback it's actually really easy. Easier than on a Beetle even, because the top 2 motor mount bolts are actually exposed. They're really easy to get to. So what I'll do is I'll spray it down with some degreaser, get it into his shop, pull it all apart and put it all back together again. It shouldn't be an easy afternoon project. But now that I've said that, it's going to be a friggin' disaster. Everyone always comments about how my car is so low and I can't possibly drive it like that. And no, the correct answer is I don't drive it like that. If you listen closely, you can hear the compressor putting air into the air shocks. I've got it lowered as low as I would ever want it to go. There it is. That's the driving position that I've got it on. It's got about 80 psi in it. I usually keep it between 60 and 80. That gets it up to where it was at. The reason why it was taking so long to fill is because the nozzle wasn't on properly. It was letting out as much air as it was going in. Anyway, it's up and running. I'm going to go ahead and drive it up on the jack stands. And, well, we're going to use ramps, probably, these guys. We'll get it up there and we'll have a look at these transmission mounts and see what's coming apart. Thought that was kind of neat. I just spotted it here in my garage tent. The plant is growing up under the wheel where the Fastback always parks. The wheel always ends up right over here somewhere, so it has grown out from underneath the wheel. I don't know how much life it has left on it, but we're gonna leave it alone and watch it for some time and just see what happens. But you can see all the roots in here from the vines that have a tendency to grow across my yard. Usually when I see ones like this that don't tear up easy, that means they're still alive. I hit them with the cutters and just cut them to pieces, and usually the one end of it will die. Anyway, yep, Fastback is running. There it is. And if you haven't already seen it, I'm not sure if I mentioned it in any other videos on Duckman Cycles, but I got a 69 Beetle over here that I'm doing the heater channel work for somebody. This door, I used to pull on it and it would just fall off. Works again because it's got a new heater channel on this side. Yay! It's been sitting in the yard and the weather has been a little rough on it, so I gotta clean up the rust that started to form on my welds over here. There's the other heater channel. It's gonna go in this side. Back over there you can see the area that I rebuilt. That was just a huge hole. So that's fixed. All up in here, up in the kick panel, I guess it's actually the quarter panel. Up in this area, there was just some big holes in that too, so I patched that up. And that's working again, and the door is now on solid. So I'm glad for that. Customer is just totally pleased. Once we get that together, I've got to replace the floor pans in this also, and then drop the body back on it, and this guy should be back in shape. There's his old heater channel, and this is why he wanted me to replace it. It's actually come apart. I've never actually seen one fall apart this way before. Usually it's conglomeration of just crud that falls apart, but the inner tube actually held up pretty well. It only rusted really badly on the end. But the actual rocker itself and the outside skin of the heater channel, it's shot. This just caved in. So anyway, that's the end of that one. There's his running boards. One of them was in pretty good shape and one of them was pretty rough. And you can see the difference there. So anyway, that's where I'm at here. Still got Skeeter going strong after 16 years. That's right, she'll be 16 in March. Right, Skeeter? That's right. Happy birthday on March 17th. And over here we still got Boomer. Boomer's hanging in there. He's kind of dark over here. Let's see, put a little light on for him. Sitting in his shitty box. Look at the mess you made in there. I went out to dinner and that's what I came home to. So, thank you, Boomer. There's his elf that he got for Christmas, which he loves to beat up. Right? Yeah, you like to beat that elf up. I'm surprised it still has a nose attached. You made a real mess out of this box tonight. I'm gonna have to clean that up when you go to bed. Yeah. So that's it for now. So make sure that you subscribe to VV the Duck VV, Duckman Cycles, to check out this kind of stuff as well as my motorcycle projects, and have a look at Skeeter the Duck's channel. It doesn't get a whole lot of traffic, and we're gonna put some more videos up on it. I have a ton of stuff recorded, so we're gonna start uploading it regularly. So please check out my other channels. Thanks, and till the next video. Enjoy.